बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम रब्बी ज़िदनी इल्मा ए मेरे रब मेरे इल्म में इजाफ़ा फरमा आमीन। अस्सलाम वालेकुम class, I am your physics teacher Iram. We have completed chapter number 13 electrostatics. Today we have to solve its numericals. Before starting the solution, you must remember all the formulas that we have used in this chapter. They will help you in the solutions. So let's discuss them one by one first. First was the Coulomb's force, the force present between two charges separated by some distance, 2-point charges. That was given by F equals to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square, where Q1 and Q2 are the charges, magnitude of charges, K is the proportionality constant, and R is the distance between these two charges. Electrostatic potential was the next formula. It was given by V equals to W divided by Q, where W is the work done to bring the charge Q into the electric field of any other charge. Potential difference is given by the formula E equals to Q V1 minus V2, where E is actually the energy supplied by the charge, which is equal to potential difference between the charges, between the points through which the charge is moving. V1 is the potential at point 1 and V2 is the potential at point 2, and Q is the charge that is moving from point 1 to point 2 in the electric field. Capacitance of a capacitor was given by Q equals to CV, where C is the capacitance, so you can rearrange it for C as Q divided by V, where Q is the amount of charge stored by the capacitor, V is the voltage, C is the capacitance of the capacitor. Equivalent capacitance of parallel combination of capacitors. Whenever the capacitors are joined in parallel circuits, their equivalent capacitance comes out to be the sum of all the capacitors that are joined. If you have two capacitors, then both of their capacitances will be added. If three capacitors are there, their capacitances will be added, up to so on. Equivalent capacitance of series combination of capacitors. For series combination, we have the formula for equivalent capacitance as C equivalent equals to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 up to so on, up to the number of capacitors that are joined in series circuit. While doing these type of numericals in which the combinations are given, you have to keep in your mind about the charge and voltage of these circuits also, so that your answer will be correct. Now let's start with the solution. Number 1 is the charge of how many negatively charged particles would be equal to 100 microcoulombs. This is the symbol for micro, and you know this is a prefix used for 10 raised to power minus 6. Assume charge on one negative particle is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulombs. So the requirement is that you have to find out the number of charges, number of negative charged particles whose combined charge will be equal to 10 microcoulombs if one particle carries the charge of 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulombs. It's quite easy. Let's see the solution. I have used n for the number of charges, so it is n is required. Q is 100 microcoulombs because it is given that the overall charge is 100 microcoulombs. 100 multiplied 10 raised to power minus 6. The micro stands for 10 raised to power minus 6. If one negative particle, you know that negatively charged particles are actually electrons, so I have used E here to show the negatively charged particle. It is electron. So its charge is the charge on single electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. You have to just find out that how many electrons, how many charged particles will make the charge 100 microcoulombs. So you have to simply multiply n with 1 particle. So as you have to find out n, so n will be rearrange this formula for n, q by e, total charge divided by amount of uh, charge on one particle, that will be 100 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. The solution gives you 6.25 into 10 raised to 14. You have to solve the powers of 10 separately so that uh, you can get correct answer. So the 6.25 into 10 raised to 14 negatively charged particles will make a total charge of 100 into 10 raised to minus 6 coulombs. 13.2, let's see the statement first. Two-point charges Q1 100 microcoulombs and Q2 5 microcoulombs. Here 1 and 2 is missing. You have to see in your book Q1 and Q2. They both are the charges 100 microcoulomb and 5 microcoulomb are placed at a distance of 150 centimeters. What will be the coulomb's force between them? Also find its direction. Two charges are given, their separation is given, and you have to find out the force between them and the direction of that force also. Let's see the solution here. Q1 is 10 microcoulombs, Q2 is 5 microcoulombs, separation is 150 centimeters. Here you see that centimeter is not the SI unit of length, so you have to convert it into meters first. What you have to do, you have to divide it by 100. You will get 1.5 meters. Force is required. So first of all you have to write the formula for Coulomb's force, that is F equals to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. You can see in the statement that the value of K is not given, so you have to remember it along with its unit. It's 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Now putting the values for K, Q1 and Q2 divided by R square, you will get the answer after the solution, that is 0.2 Newton. I think you can easily solve these, so I am not explaining the steps. These are just multiplication, division, subtraction and addition. So here I have written that it is a force of repulsion. Can you guess why it is repulsion? Yes, because both of these charges carry positive charge. One is it is not mentioned that one is positive or the second or they are negative, so you have to consider them as positive charges, and you know that the force between two like charges is repulsion. That's why the force between these charges will be repulsion. 13.3 is the force of repulsion between two identical positive charges is 0.8 newtons. Here the direction of force is also given so that you can guess the polarity of the charge, means both of they carry same charges, same polarity. So here you can see that the force of repulsion is 0.8 newtons when the charges are 0.1 meters apart. Find the value of each charge. You have to find out the value of each charge. Let's write the data first. Force is 0.8 newtons, distance is 0.1 meters. Now you have to check that whether the units are SI or not. It is SI unit, meters, so we can use it as it is. As it is also given that they are identical charges, so there is no need to write 1 and 2 with the charges. We can easily replace them with the symbol Q. That's why we have written Q1 equals to Q2 equals to Q, means we can replace Q1 and Q2 both with only Q. K is also not given in this statement. You have to write it. You can write it in data because you know that for finding out the Coulomb's force you have to use K, as you know that this is the proportionality constant for the medium air between the charges. In the statement, no medium is given. It is not mentioned that the charges are present in any medium, which kind of medium they are present. So you have to take it the medium as air, and you have to use the value of K for air, that is 9 into 10 is to power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Writing the formula first, K F equals to K Q1 Q2 by R square. As we have to find out the value of charges, we have to separate Q1 and Q2 first. Take them on one side, Q1 and Q2. Rearrange the remaining terms. F R square divided by K will be there. Now in the next step, Q1 and 2 is not written because we have replaced Q1 with Q and Q2 with Q also. Here mostly students do the mistake that they write Q only single time. That will be wrong, because you have to use Q instead of Q1 and Q2 both. So you have to write Q two times. They are multiplied. Q multiplied by Q gives you Q square. Putting the values will give you the value Q square equals to 0.888. 10 is from minus 12. Now you have to find the square root, because you have to find the charge on single charge, amount of charge on the single, both of these charges. So Q will be 0.942 into 10 is from minus 6 coulombs, and you can write in scientific notation as 9.42 into 10 is from minus 7. We have taken decimal towards right, so we have to add 1 in the power of 10. That will be, sorry, we have to subtract it because we are going towards right. Yes, 0.942 was there. Now we have written it as 9.42. We have to add minus 1 in minus 6. That will give you minus 7. So the amount of charge on both of these charges will be 9.42 into 10 is to the power minus 7. 13.4. Two charges repel each other with a force of 0.1 Newton when they are 5 centimeter apart. Find the forces between the same charges when they are 2 centimeter apart. Here we are given with two cases. First is the force will be 0.1 newtons between two charges if they are 5 centimeter apart. But if they are 2 centimeter apart, obviously the force between them changes. So we have to find out that force which will act between the same charges when they are 2 centimeter apart. As there are two cases, so we have to use 1 and 2 with the variables. As F, R and Q are variables, so we have to write F1 0.1 Newton, R1 5 centimeter. Centimeter is not SI unit. You have to change it compulsory before starting the solution. Keep it in your mind. Mostly students do this mistake here. 0.05 meter will be there. R2 is 2 centimeter in the second case, and I have not written F2 here. You can mention that you have to find out F2 here in the data. Yes, and again two similar charges are there because we can guess it from, because they are repelling each other, so they must be same. Q1 and Q2 will be replaced with Q only. K is 9.9 into 10 is 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Writing the formula for F1, that will be F1 equals to K Q square divided by R1 square. What I have done, I have skipped the step that will mention Q1 and Q2, and then you have to write Q and Q for both of them, and we will get Q square because I have explained it before. Now Q square will be F1 R1 square divided by K, and same thing for the second case will be Q square because the charges are same. That's why we have taken them on one side. Q square for first case and Q square for second case also. F2 R square F2 R2 square divided by K. Now as the charges are same, or we can say the left hand sides are same, so we can take the right hand sides as same also. Taking them same, we will get F1 R1 square divided by K equals to F2 R2 square divided by K. Now K is a proportionality constant. It will be same for both the cases also. It can be cancelled from the denominator of both sides. We are left with only F1 R1 square and F2 R2 square. Rearrange it for F2 because we have to find F2 and solve it. You will get the answer 0.625 newtons, as Newton is the unit of force. Don't forget to write units with the answer. 13.5. The electric potential at a point in an electric field is 10 raised to power 4 volts. If a charge of 100 microcoulomb is brought from infinity to this point, what would be the amount of work done on it? Yes, the first topic, the electrostatic potential, in that we have discussed that whenever a charge from infinity is brought into the electric field of any charge, we have to do some work. Here the point on which we have to take that charge, the potential at that point is given, which is 10 raised to power 4 volts, and the charge we are taking to that point is 100 microcoulombs. The amount of charge on that charge is 100 microcoulombs. So how much work you have to do? Simple. V equals to 10 raised to power 4 volts. The charge we are taking to that point is 100 microcoulombs. Micro stands for 10 raised to power minus 6. Work done is required. Solution: W equals to Q by V. As we know that we have discussed, I have just told you the formula, V equals to W by Q. We have just rearranged it for finding the work. That will be W equals to QV. Putting the values will give you 1 joule. These mathematical steps are here. I think you can easily understand them. 100 can be replaced by 10 raised to power 2. As the bases are same, powers will be added. 10 raised to power 2 minus 2 gives you 10 raised to power 0, and any number raised to power 0 gives 1. That's why the work comes out to be 1 joule in this case. 13.6. A point charge of 2 coulomb is transferred from a point at a potential 100 volts to a point at potential 50 volts. Here two potentials are given, means 2 points are given and their potentials are also given. They are at different potentials, and how much energy will be supplied by the charge. This is the case of potential difference. You have to find out actually the potential difference present between these two. The potential difference will be the difference between these 2 points, and you have to find out the energy supplied by the charge. Yes, by moving between these 2 points. V1 is 100 volts, V2 is 50 volts. We have to take 1 for larger potential for the point at higher potential, and V2 for the point at lower potential. Delta is the symbol used for change. Delta V equals to V1 minus V2. The change will be 50 volts. Q is 2 coulombs. Energy is required. Q into delta V will give you 100 joules. So whenever this charge moves between the points of 100 to 50 volts, it will supply an energy of 100 joules. 13.7. A capacitor holds 0.06 coulombs of charge when fully charged by a 9 volts battery. Calculate the capacitance. It is very simple, that the capacitance, you have to find out the capacitance. If the capacitor is connected with a 9 volts battery and it stores a charge of 0.06 coulombs. Charge is written, voltage is 9 volts, capacitance is required. Q equals to CV. Rearrange it for capacitance. Q by V. It gives you 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 3 farads. F is the unit for capacitance and it is called farad. 13.8. A capacitor holds 0.03 coulombs of charge when fully charged by a 6-volt battery. How much voltage would be required for it to hold 2 coulombs of charge? Yes, here again two cases are given. One is the case when the capacitor holds 0.03 coulombs of charge connected by 6 volts battery, and second is if it has to hold 2 coulombs of charge, then how much voltage will be required. First, Q1 is 0.03 coulombs for the voltage supplied 6 volts. Q2 is 2 coulombs that it has to store. What amount of voltage will be required? V2 is required. Q equals to C1, as C is a constant because same capacitor is being used here, so we have to we will see that its capacitance is same. That's why we have not written 1 or 2 with C. Q1 equals to C V1. For C it will be Q1 by V1. In second case C will be equal to Q2 by V2. As the C is same, that's why Q1 by V1 will be equal to Q2 by V2. Rearrange it for V2, you will get the required result. That will be 400 volts. Means if that capacitor have to hold 2 coulombs of charge, it must be connected with the 400 volts battery. 13.9. Two capacitors of capacitances 6 microfarads and 12 microfarads are connected in series with 12 volts battery. Now you have to be careful about the combination. It is a series combination of capacitors. They are connected with 12 volts battery. You have to find out the equivalent capacitance of combination. Find the charge and potential difference across each capacitor. Along with the equivalent capacitance, you have to also find how much amount of charge will be stored on the capacitors joined in series and the potential difference across the capacitors also. C1 is 6 microfarads, C2 is 12 microfarads, V is 12 volts, equivalent capacitance is required, charge and voltage across each capacitor is also required. First of all, let's solve it for C equivalent capacitance. In series, it will be 1 by C equivalent equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. Taking the LCM, you will get 1 by C equivalent equals to 1 by 4. So, C equivalent will be 4 microfarads. As you can notice here that I have not written micro with this 6 and 12, but I have, because it is same, I have just used it with the answer with the equivalent capacitance here. You can do it like this, but you have to write it in the answer, otherwise your answer will be wrong. No need to mention it with the solution while doing the steps, just write it with the answer. Now as we know that in series combination of capacitors, the charge stored by each capacitor is same. That's why we have to write Q equals to C equivalent multiply by voltage supplied by the battery. It will be C equivalent is 4 microfarads. That's why we have written 4 into 10 to the power minus 6. Voltage is 12 volts. So multiplying will give you Q equals to 48 microcoulombs. Now as we know that you have to remember it that the voltage in series combination across each capacitor is different. So we have to write it for 1 and 2 for both the capacitors. V1 for first capacitor, V2 for second capacitor. Q1 by C1 gives you Q1 is, now here there is a mistake. You don't have to write Q because same amount of charge is present on both the capacitors. So you have to write here just Q. Q by C1 gives you 48 into 10 to the power minus 6 divided by 6 into 10 to the power minus 6. 10 to the power minus 6 will be cancelled from numerator and denominator. You are left with V1 equals to 8 volts. It means from the 12 volts battery, from the 12 volts voltage, 8 volts are used by first capacitor and the remaining, you can also guess that For making 12 on a whole, you have to add 4 in 8, means 8 and 4 makes 12. If 8 volts are used by first capacitor, 4 volts will be used by the second capacitor. You can also find it from the formula. This one, V2 equals to Q by C2. Putting the values gives you 4 volts. They are used by second capacitor. Last numerical is two capacitors of capacitances 6 and 12 microfarads are connected in parallel with 12 volts battery. Now these quantities are same, but the combination is parallel. Find the equivalent capacitance. Requirements are also same. Equivalent capacitance, charge and potential difference is required. C1, C2 and V are same. Equivalent capacitance Q and V across each capacitor is required. In parallel combination, you have to just add the values. So 6 into 10 is power minus 6 and 12 into 10 is power minus 6. As they are, there is a sum. So you have to take the common things on single time. 10 is power minus 6 will be written one time, and 6 and 12, 6 plus 12 makes 18. Equivalent capacitance comes out to be 18 microfarads. Now here you have to remember that the voltage across each capacitor in parallel combination is same, but the charge stored by each capacitor is different. So we have to find out the charges first. Q1 equals to C1V. According to its capacitance, the charge will be stored on first capacitor. Q1 equals to C1V. Putting the values gives you 72 microcoulombs. Q2 equals to C2V. Because V is same, that's why we have not written 1 or 2 with V. Q2 will be 144 microfarads. Don't forget to write micro. As the voltage across each capacitor in the parallel combination is same, that's why V1 and V2 across both the capacitors will be equal to V. That is the voltage supplied by the battery. That is 12 volts. That was all about the numericals. I hope you understand all these easily. But if you have any question, you can ask anything, anytime. It's your homework time now. First of all, you have to write all these numericals on your NEET notebooks, and you have to do their practice also in rough registers. And after watching the video and solve the following numerical and send its solution in physics group. You have to only solve this numerical for sending in the homework group. 5 joules of work is needed to shift 10 coulombs of charge from one place to other. Find the potential difference between the places. Means a charge of 10 coulombs is shifted from one point to other in a field, in an electric field. You have to find out the work done to move it from one point to another. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.